left G and all that.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. My name is Brian. I'm here with John, the problematic white guy, and this is the Week in Culture, where we discuss the news, the cultural news of the week, and we'll give it our own sort of twist on it. So, welcome to the show, everybody. And it's really good to see you all. I see Deadly Do Right. I see Mr. 0303, and let me just see Saltpeter Taffy. What's up? And welcome. All right. So, John, how are you doing?
Oh, I am awesome as always. As you can see, I finally got all my upgrades taken care of for streaming for the time being. Of course, my next upgrade is going to be something that we're talking about today. But yeah, I really can't complain. It's I got a good amount of sleep last night. I got thumbnails taken care of. I've got I think one more to work on after this. For a VOD for Jester, but other than that, all things are firing on all cylinders. Actually, it's been a really good week. So
that's fantastic. Good to hear it. And for those of you guys who are watching, Master Goa, hello, says good morning, playing Where Winds Meet while listening to you guys. That's funny. I'm gonna probably talk a little bit about that because I saw that it was free to play, and I figured maybe I would demo it, play around with it a little bit this week since it's free.
Yeah, I might even check it out.
I've been playing Marvel Rivals, and since it came out, I never spent a cent on it, and I have a lot unlocked and stuff. So
nice.
And it's sort of without getting too much into the stories right away, there is a question that I think needs to be asked about how the video game industry from the sort of supply end of things is going to change. And a lot of different models, and I've talked about it on the show before, do we go where it's a one-time purchase and you own it, and that's it, which was the way it's always been done historically. I don't think that's a thing anymore. I don't think it's commonly a thing. What I mean by that is that often a game is released and it gets ongoing support. Like Repo, for example, is $10, and over time they just added maps and monster. They just did a monster update recently, but it's a one-time purchase, but they add to it, and usually they don't charge anything. They just keep supporting the game. Helldivers 2 is sort of like that, but they also have a monetization. Then there are games that have microtransactions. Then there are games that have DLC. Then there are games that have expansions. Then there are games that are free, but then there's free to play, but you pay for extra content. Some of it is pay to win. Some of it is loot boxes. There's just so many different ways to monetize. And I think what's happening is, and I guess I'm being charitable, but I don't like the greed argument. I just saw a debate between, I can't remember his name, but it's on the tip of my tongue. I actually got it right here. Yorch Torch Game,
right,
and he's a vocal sort of pro Gamergate guy on X, and he got into a debate with this guy named K-Med, who basically took a list of people that Yorch Torch Games was suggesting that you follow, like Stuttering Craig, Smash JT, Vara Dark, Asmongold, Grums, Endymion, Razor Fist, Savvy, Master of the TDS, and Cabrutus, and so on. And he basically shared it and said, well, here are people that you should block if you just want to talk about fun games and you're not a racist. And
yeah, I might have got caught up in that a little bit.
Yeah. I jokingly said, I'm sad that I didn't make the list, but because Hypnotic is on there, that's only one Puerto Rican. You guys need to get more Puerto Ricans in there. But anyway, so I listened to the debate, and I was just frustrated because it descended into this thing about corporate greed. And I was like, guys, you just don't understand. Corporations, you just hear the word and you get this emotional reaction, oh my God, you just think of Lex Luthor, right? Stop doing that. That's fucking low IQ, simplistic bullshit, all right? When you are looking at a situation where there are games being made that are attacking the gamers, like they were talking about Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed Shadows. If you want to make profit, that's not bad. So that's not even the issue, because those companies are actually attacking the people who give them money. So that's not corporate. That's not capitalist. It's anti-consumer, full stop. And so but but the thing is, this whole, I'm sorry, John,
That's right.
this whole
Well,
thing works in
yeah,
a debate because you get people emotionally invested in attacking corporations. And I'm
right,
not like caping for corporations, but what I'm
right,
saying is it's a diversion, it's a distraction from the ideological core problem. So corporations can do whatever they want. If they put bullshit in their game, then just don't buy it. I'm not saying you
right,
have to, but
right,
like the idea that you get caught up in this, and the thing is too is that if you, this is a thing you should warn against, okay? If you get caught up in an argument about, or you end up agreeing with some guy who's, just a midwit that's saying corporations bad, you are actually contributing to the dialectic that ultimately attacks property rights, because people don't know the difference between corporations and capitalism, or like what they
right,
call capitalism.
right.
Um,
That's what I was gonna say a moment ago.
Yes, but they
Because
they don't, but they treat them as interchangeable terms, and they're
right,
not. So like it really annoys me that people are still not seeing that those things are very different. And also, corporations can only exist because of government, but the people who typically criticize corporations don't have a problem with government. They think that the government should actually be involved in, like policing corporations, but the government
right.
created them. So this is just like I
Well,
said, it's just midwittery in my opinion.
right. Well, it certainly does kind of minimize it to just go and say a blanket statement. Corporations are bad, like because there's a difference between profiting and profiteering, and there's giant differences between capitalism and corporatist driven globalism. But that's one of those things that if you have principles and values, the way that you approach it, you should actually be able to be more discerning about these things. Because a lot of
Right.
times, and that's the reason why I enjoy doing the show with you, is because most of these things have quite a few factors that are at play more often than not, that are ultimately leading, why shit goes weird and strange. And it's like trying to just go and pull one noodle out of a plate of spaghetti and say this is the reason right here. It's like, no, it's the entire plate of spaghetti. Like all those noodles are intercoiled and doing things, and like there's a whole dynamic there. Can certain things have more factors in certain areas? Sure. I'm very often to say that marketing, accounting, and legal are the biggest reasons for malpractice in most forms of business and industry. Uh, but um, but yeah, to the first part though of what you were talking about in terms of games as well, I think that we are seeing a shift, especially for larger entities. But even the smaller entities, the AAA titles, things like that, will do long-standing support. But depending on what the game is, you could, in theory, still today put out something and not necessarily have to continue to, offer a whole bunch of additional support. But if there's an audience for it, why not be able to, do those sorts of things? I know that Anata, as I've mentioned before, will be coming
Mhm.
out more than likely probably before GTA 6 now, which is even better. But that's going to have a free to play model, but there will be, uh,
Yeah, because it's like a
but
gotcha game, like,
right, but there will be monetization aspects to it. And I think if you at least know that going in, you know, uh,
exactly. Like, if you
yeah,
know that going in, and the thing is, like, again, I think that there's still a debate going on in the industry itself to figure out what's the best model. And I think
right.
once they land somewhere where, the companies are making a profit, but the gamers are not getting screwed, then that will probably be like the way going forward. And right
Oh
now, I
yeah,
think it's like a transitional period, and it's
yeah,
been, like this for about like maybe the better part of half a decade,
r-
like 7 years or so. Uh,
right.
and and I think it's just going to be like a bunch of different models. Like you're
Oh
gonna
yeah,
have,
GTA
yeah,
6, GTA 6. I know. Well, GTA 5 right now this weekend. Even if you don't have a PSN account, you can go play as long as you have GTA Plus. You can have access
hmm
to the game server. So if they were to do something like that going forward and just completely remove PlayStation Network from the equation,
yeah,
you're still paying somebody. But I would almost in some ways, uh, rather than having to having a PSN account, if I had any interest in playing Grand Theft Auto online at this point in time. Uh, you know, it almost seems in some ways not necessarily a better value because of course with PSN access you can get access to everything else, but ultimately when I was using my PS5, that was even the only thing that I was still really logging into. So that's going to be baked into GTA 6 more than likely. Their website has a whole advert for the GTA Plus membership, and even though I'm not like a big advocate for that thing, it is another one of the aspects of the models that you're talking about that are going to be the approach where you're going to buy something and it's all a matter of whether the support long term is something that is monetized, and if it is monetized, how they go about doing. Is it piecemeal? Is it subscription? All these sorts of things. But yeah, the thing that came out with that KMed stuff and all that, it got very interesting. I got into a back and forth with because Kata he reposted the link at one point in time, and some ankle biter chick went after him. She was calling herself a virtual photographer and saying how none of us play games and all this kind of stuff. And so I got into a back and forth with her, kind of made her look foolish a few times. Ultimately, she because she's when I told her, because she said, "I wish y'all wouldn't do this, and this is why people hate you." And I said, "Well, wishing one hand, shit in the other, and cope and seethe along the way." Um,
Yeah.
Effectively the first time, and then she decided to say that I wasn't. I didn't have any game experience. I don't play games. I was like, oh, because I at that point I called her Screenshot Sally because she was, she has herself listed as a virtual photographer, and so as part of the day went by, I finally saw that she had posted something about me not playing games and why I don't post the links to X, and I was just saying, hey, maybe, just maybe, I don't I don't need to be like reassured with every little thing that I do, and I actually get paid to do production art. And
Mhm.
aside from that, I was a paid QA tester in the game industry, and and I mentioned the whole thing about uh the belt buckle design, the belt buckle award in Red Dead Online. Like, I have connections to the industry, but I don't need to sit here and go on and on about it. And so when I posted that, she ended up just saying, "Oh, well, I just do this for fun." It's like, right, right. So you're pretentious and cringe, call yourself a virtual artist, sit here and go after everybody because we express our opinions online. How's that any different than your self-indulgent bullshit when
Yeah.
we don't call ourselves journalists or anything like that? Like, I'm not calling myself, it's like I do production art because that's what I do. It's what I get paid to do. It may not be much, but I actually do pay for my groceries off the work that I do here in this space. And and talking about the games industry, people don't have to have any kind of clear cut, you did this, you do that, and all this kind of stuff. We're just people. We're just hanging out, having conversations on the internet, talking about things from our perspective, whether that's just at a fan level access or if you have any kind of involvement in your past experience. All that stuff comes together, and the KMed stuff even got even stranger because a day following the first stuff that you're talking about, a few days after maybe, devolved to KMed calling Kata our token black guy, and it's like there's plenty of people around this space that I interact with
Well, but
that
they
are
only see the people
right,
that are like the most clout. So
right,
that's the way the left operates, though. It's always like,
right,
who's got the most clout? That's who I'm going to measure everybody else based on.
right.
Yeah, but anyway, look,
Yeah, it's a
that's a
crazy situation.
total digression. I just wanted to say that it was frustrating because at the end of the day, like, I don't know if Yorch Torch like was just being really charitable, or maybe he didn't really know what the issue is, because a lot of
Right,
people who are pro Gamergate don't know that it is a cultural rot. It is an
right,
attack on our stuff, and it has a lot to do with the fact that it's enjoyed by men. So mostly because of that, actually. And we're going
right,
to get into some of that in today's show, but yeah, what we want is authenticity. Full stop. Period. That's it. Like that authenticity. If you change things, um, because you feel like there's a cause you want to put a highlight on, then I'm going to call it inauthentic because that's what it is. But anyway,
Right.
so anyway, with all that said, let's get into the stories.
Indeed.
First up, we got this Steam Deck, or Steam, or Valve rather.
Steam hardware.
They got new, exactly. They got new Steam hardware. So Valve has expanded its Steam hardware lineup with 3 exciting new devices announced on November 12th, 2025, all slated for release in early 2026. Building on the success of the Steam Deck, the lineup includes the Steam Machine, which is a compact living room console resembling a goth Gamecube with a semi-custom 6-core AMD Zen 4 CPU up to 4.8 gigahertz and RDNA 3 GPU with 28 compute units, 16 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM, 8 gigabytes of DDR6 VRAM, and storage options of 512 gigabytes or 2 terabytes SSDs. These are SSDs.
Mm-hmm.
It runs Steam OS for seamless PC gaming on TVs, supports Proton for Windows compatibility, and connects via USB/Bluetooth for peripherals like controllers. The Steam controller, which is the second device, so speaking of controllers,
right,
designed as its ideal companion, also available standalone or bundled, so you can get it for your PC if you want, features ergonomic grips with grip sense for gyro aiming, magnetic thumbsticks, trackpads, haptic motors, and up to 35 plus hours of battery life. It is compatible with PCs, laptops, and the Steam Machine. And then lastly, there is, rounding out the trio, is the Steam Frame, which is a lightweight standalone VR headset powered by SteamOS, succeeding the 2019 Valve Index with pass-through cameras, adjustable knobs, and integrated controllers for immersive experiences. No exact pricing has been revealed yet due to market fluctuations, but Valve emphasized affordability akin to a competitive PC build rather than subsidized consoles. These devices aim to make Steam libraries more accessible across living rooms, desktops, and VR, with wishlisting now open on Steam, marking a full circle revival of Valve's earlier hardware experiments from 2015. So,
well, the only criticism I have of this article is it's minimizing to call it a console. This is a PC with console
it is a PC,
features.
right?
It's a full,
runs Linux, right? It runs, it can run
runs
Linux or something like
Linux. This is a mid-range PC. Probably in terms of power capabilities, somewhere in between a PS4 and a PS5. So it's not the most high-end system, but generally speaking, you know,
say it was like a powerful 16 decks though, or
right. Right, but the point I'm getting at is, for some people, because I've seen some people going on about, oh, this is just weak crap and it's not going to do anything. Actually, I'll be quite honest. I don't need bleeding edge, technology. I don't need super hyper realistic. If it does enough, and it would be a better situation for a PC for me at this point in time, for the long term, because I got this new one here. But it's not without issue. So in the long term, I do look at this as the next PC system that I will be getting. I've even said, if I have to sell my PS5 to afford getting this, I'm very much willing to do that at this point, because this can do all those things that my Steam Deck can do, but actually even more so. And it's got the SSD slot for expansion, which is nice because it's not proprietary. So, that's very straightforward. And it also does have an NVMe SSD in there as well. So you can also expand that part as well. So it's got expandability in certain areas. It is being kind of kept at a more generation ago kind of life cycle in terms of some of the computing tech in there, but that's going to actually help keep the cost reasonable. And for a lot of people that are just going to be using this more for its console-esque features of putting it in the living room, things like that, that's not a problem. It's still going to run things in 4K. You will be able to run frame generation stuff in there if you really want to have those higher levels of frames per second and all that kind of stuff. There is a lot going on with this, and I couldn't be more pleased, because having used a Steam Deck now for going on 3 years. Uh, you know, the amount of input and everything like that that's coming in the new controller, the way that it works with has magnets for the control sticks, taking the way the one small complaint that I have is that the control sticks on my Steam Deck, they could, in theory, start to get stick drift. Of course, it's pretty. It's not like the easiest thing to change them out. Uh, uh, or at least it used to be a little bit more difficult because you had to like solder two wires
Yeah.
because the actual thumbsticks themselves also have capacitive touch sensors built into them. So whenever you get a Steam Deck or this new Steam controller, if you want to get thumb grips for it, you want to get ones that are made out of silicone, so the capacitive uh, aspect still works, rather than using rubber ones, because then I think that the capacitivity doesn't pass through. So there is so much that you'll be able to do with these controllers when they come out, whether you want to get the Steam machine or not. Those are going to be a game changer. Each puck that comes with the controller, the magnetic recharge cable,
Yeah.
runs on a proprietary connection for Wi-Fi 6. And so you can have up to 4 pucks connected to the Steam machine itself so that you can have up to 16 people play locally off of one machine. That is pretty fucking amazing. Like everything
Yeah.
about this, the more that you actually kind of think about the various details that are in there and all the implications. And, I use my Steam Deck connected to a 40-inch screen, and I play a lot of games in, uh, you know, 1080 or 1440 because I'm running it through a dock system, and they look perfectly fine. Like this is not trying to be the most, like Microsoft. On the other hand, they're talking about their new system and how it's going to have all this stuff, and they're
Create
going to
another
try to like
Xbox.
right,
Yeah.
right, right, and it sounds like the it sounds like they're planning to price that thing over $1,000, $1,500, right? And so,
Hmm.
they're going for trying to have it be the biggest, baddest thing in the room. This is just trying to actually give you more abilities, and it's open source, so you can do all sorts of stuff with it if you do want to utilize some of those more nebulous kind of things rather than just using it as a game station.
Yeah.
You can run an operating system, whatever operating system you choose on there. You want to like 'cause what I'll probably do when I get one is I probably will turn into a dual boot system with Linux and Windows, and so that way I can just have everything all in one for doing my editing and doing everything. And then once you actually have that in place, because there's also the aspect of if you utilize Moonlight, and because I know Steam Link works really well, but if you use Moonlight and Sunshine in conjunction with this as well, you would to stream your games to your Steam Deck. Either that or the just even the remote play, the Steam Link. You'll be able to get
Yeah.
increased battery times, and you'll be able to just basically, have the Steam machine as your at-home server, and then it would operate effectively like a PS Portal, and you wouldn't even and even if you want to have games installed on your Steam Deck as well, you could also play games running at higher frame rates and everything like that, and then just use your Steam Deck as a passive screen. So this is in terms of, even though Steam Deck 2 is not being announced along with all this stuff and it's probably a few years off, the Steam machine in and of itself, if you have a Steam Deck, will actually give that another kind of little technical boost to get through the next
Yeah.
few years between this and the next Steam Deck with Steam Deck 2. So this is one of the coolest things that's happened this week in quite some time. And these people who say, "Oh, I wish you would just talk about things that you like," we are. This
Well,
is I've been waiting to talk
do
about all
people
this
say
kind of
that?
stuff.
Because I try to like say something nice all the time. So
Yeah.
this is what I would
Not
say
necessarily
about
about our
this.
show, but in general, that
Yeah.
was that was the K-Med complaint, is that,
Apparently, Steam has, and I think this is, I do remember this. Steam has
mhm,
attempted to like step into the arena of console gaming before,
right.
but I think things are different now, and I think one of the main reasons is because COVID changed everything. Like
Right.
when COVID was going on, more people were essentially building PCs than have historically. The
Right.
consoles, Xbox and PlayStation, in particular, maybe not
Mhm.
so much Nintendo, have been disappointing. Like there isn't like a lot of great exclusives, and now there's basically no exclusives at all since Helldivers 2 came to Xbox and Halo came, or not, Gears of War and Halo
Yep.
are, have come to PlayStation. So with that in mind, Steam has, or Valve has, a better chance to stand out because Steam has access to games and nobody has access to. And I
Right.
mean, not just like the big AAA ones, which again is another thing that people are not really as interested in anymore, but the smaller ones,
Right.
the ones that end up getting tested on Steam, the independent ones. I mean, that was one of the strengths of that platform. So I think that who this is for are the console gamers that are
That-
disaffected with PlayStation and Xbox.
Right. Right.
And I'm not including Nintendo because Nintendo is like a separate. It's like its
Nintendo's
own
its own
thing.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, it's always been sort of like alone.
Right.
Not really in any danger. Like Crash Bandicoot and
The only
Conquer are not going to be like competing with
right.
with Mario.
The
So
the
it's like
only
a different I guess like landscape,
Yeah, the only people that
So
really affect Nintendo's success or failure with hardware is Nintendo themselves, based on
yeah.
how obtuse they get with some of their silliness or whatnot. But yeah, I think that for Sony and Microsoft, this is a much bigger kick in the dick than anybody at Nintendo's worrying about with this.
Yeah, well,
But
like I said, Nintendo's, I mean, they got like the
yeah,
Switch 2 coming, but I think it's still like, well, we'll see. I don't know. Well, I think
yeah,
that Steam has, or Valve, I keep saying Steam, I meant to say Valve.
that's all right.
Valve has a much better chance of competing this time around,
Oh,
especially because
clearly,
depending on the price point and because they're jumping into the VR thing, like right off the bat. I mean, like I'm not completely sold on VR. Like I have a headset, like I have this, it's like
right,
a Quest or something, but I have this guy right here. But
right.
I don't ever use it. I tried to mod, like some games like Half-Life and Resident Evil Village.
Hmm.
And I just like, yeah, I don't know. It's just it seems to be more trouble than it's worth right now.
Right.
But it is something that people are taking more interest in. I still think it's a gimmick overall, but whatever. It's I can
Yeah.
see that this is going to be, and look, the more people that are competing in this arena, this space, the better we're always going to be the winners because only
Right.
they're going to like try to outdo each other with quality of their content and
More
like
competition is
for
always a
that.
good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly,
And
exactly.
to the point you're saying about how things are different now, yeah. Steam's been in existence since around 2005, maybe a little bit older than that, as a platform. And I think they were doing the original Steam machines around 2010, about 15 years ago, is when they kind of put those out for the first time. So in the last 15 years, Steam has only grown in popularity in terms of an active
The
user
landscape
base.
was very different back
Right,
then. Like
right,
Nintendo, not well, Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation were all like, like they were like the top of their
right.
game.
That was
So,
like the golden age for them when
yeah.
but in the course of the last 15 years, people have been building up their Steam libraries. So when this comes out, you already have a library, right? And it's just going to be able to be more available for contemporary games that are coming out. But you can, it's a Valve system, so
Yeah.
you can put emulators on there. You can run
Oh,
Epic's Game
it's gonna
Store.
have
You can,
everything
yeah,
available that you were able to get on a PC.
yeah,
So like
yeah,
there's
and
literally like, how we used to worry about backwards compatibility? Like
right,
that's
right.
not even a thing,
That's not
right?
even a thing here
No.
because yeah, quite clearly you could this device with a few appropriate kind of external hard drives and whatnot or anything like that added into it, you could in theory almost make an entire gaming museum library and play it all
Mhm.
from this one device. Because
Absolutely.
Valve is even opening up Steam to Android games now, so the Android
Mhm.
platform is going to be covered as well. So that in of itself, this is going to provide for where you put your money going into the future of let's just say console gaming for the sake of the matter, this to me is a far better investment than what would be coming with the PlayStation 5 or the next Xbox, whatever they'll call it, because they never stick with any kind of legitimate naming convention. But yeah, this all three of these pieces of hardware they got coming out, even the headset operates as a PC actually as well. It's also running Steam OS and effectively a Steam Deck for your head, and very adjustable. And it seems, and I'm not really big into the idea of having headsets, but when I was looking at this whole offering, I was like, wow, if I actually had discretionary income over the course of the next few years of appropriating all three of these, yeah, that's
Yeah.
definitely something that I will be looking to do. I will more than likely get the console or the PC and the controller. I'll try to do that together in a bundle package.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm definitely getting both of them together or separate. However, I have to manage to do it economically is the only thing that's going to be the thing
Yeah,
that
right.
that gets in
Well,
the way of that. But
I'm not like, because I think I'm not like the audience. Like I have a new PC and it runs
right.
everything fine. But I know people who, like they want another console but they
Hmm.
don't like what's available. So I'm like, well, you should wait until this comes out, see how much it costs,
Right.
because it's gonna have, and if they dominate, they're probably gonna get all the exclusives anyway, because you
Right.
can get a lot of the Xbox stuff on the Steam
Oh yeah.
machine and PlayStation
And
stuff
so yeah,
too.
and Sony games
Yeah.
especially. Yeah, you can play Ghost of Tsushima on there right now,
Yes, you
uh,
can.
which would certainly be a better alternative than what you get on
Idiote.
right.
Yeah.
but
All
yeah,
right.
this thing
Go
is
ahead.
going to be a complete game changer. It's been
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
easily the
We'll
highlight
see
of the
we'll
week.
see how it goes. We'll follow up when we learn more,
Indeed.
like the pricing and when it comes out, and figure out if that's reasonable, things like
Yep.
that. I might, like, maybe I'll get a controller,
Oh,
or yeah,
the
I might get a
controllers.
controller because I still
We
have my old PS4 controller, and I
right,
mean, it's reliable. Like I haven't had any issues with it. It's like got some dust on it.
right.
But I mean, this is like my favorite controller. Like ever since Sony's always made the best controllers. The
We
Xbox One is a fucking monster. Like I just don't care for it. But
oh yeah. Well,
the
they're most
Dreamcast one, I still have my Dreamcast controller. Holy shit, it's like a spaceship.
yeah.
But I like the console.
I
Anyway,
will say for for Sony, they just put out a new update for the PS5 controller, and now you can actually run it on Bluetooth
yeah.
inside of a Windows OS as well. I've always been able to do it with my Steam Deck, which has always been nice. But just this week, I found out that I no longer have to have the controller tethered to play games inside of Windows, which is nice. But we did a controller ranking over on Will of the Fans channel a couple weeks back.
Yeah.
And yeah, and when I saw this, I said to Will, I was like, if we did that ranking today with this, just prospectively being a controller,
Steam controller.
yeah, this to me looks like this is the best controller that has ever come out in the history of gaming, aside from my very niche based GunCon controller that I got from, I think it was Radica or whatever, with all the customizable buttons. This is just the best.
They've just added more buttons. Like there's
Right.
like, I think there's like
There's
four on
four
the back,
customized.
and then
Yep.
there's the pads, and then yeah, this,
Yeah,
like,
the pads, you can make
eventually it's
virtual
just gonna
buttons
be
on the
like a
pads.
keyboard.
You can make virtual buttons on the pads. You can make
Yeah.
because like I said, the touch the thumbsticks are also capacitive. They have the same kind of touch capabilities built in as the pads do. So
Yeah.
there's all sorts
It's
of great the
like your
implementations
grandma's
are
game controller.
right,
Um,
right. It's gonna be
all right, we
awesome.
should move on though.
Mhm.
But let me look at some of your comments. Yeah, so exciting news for the industry. I think it is overall it looks like a good thing, so we'll see. But yeah, let's look at some comments. So Norwegian says, I started a new playthrough in Dark Souls. It's just a shame that the servers are down for the original PC port. Oh, really? Oh,
Well, that's
I
unfortunate.
well, the original one. Is it the
Mhm.
original one or the remastered one? Or are they using the same servers? Maybe they are. That's a shame. Master Goa says, I listened to part of that then got sick of it. K-Med basically said, you can't say these things in my neighborhood and live what you guys do. Yeah, I know. It's wild that he never thought to himself, is that humane to like basically say you should be killed because you said something offensive? And he doesn't even, it doesn't even register. He's just like, well, you'd get killed in my neighborhood. It's like, yeah, don't you think there's something wrong with that?
Right. That's more revealing about your situation.
Yeah,
than
like
it is
what are you like?
that...
What have you normalized in your mind that like you have allowed this? But anyway, K-Med was all like, what do you guys want? You really want more Stellar Blade? K-Med is retarded, of course. We want more Stellar Blade. Well, I mean, Stellar Blade's a good game, but it's like, I heard that too, where he's like, do you want all female characters everywhere to be like Eve from Stellar Blade? He's like, no, but we'd like them to be women. If they are female, we want them to be women, not like, you know, androgynous ham beasts.
Right.
And look, if you want that to be your game, go ahead. We just won't play it. Like, that's like, whatever, put it out there.
Yeah, just know full well that you are limiting your audience to a very, very select group.
Norwegian says, I'm waiting for Valve to develop a standalone Steam OS for desktop that will compete with Windows. I mean, that would be nice. I think they will. That would be good because
I think that this is this is ever closer steps inroads towards that, because since this, you know, technically, if I wanted to install Windows on the Steam Deck, I could. Because you can even get a free version of Windows that operates on Steam Deck, because they make a Windows Mobile Edition for anything that has a screen 10 inches or smaller built into it. It's just a free OS. But you know, obviously on the Steam Deck, there's probably a few more kind of technical limitations. But when you get into the Steam machine that's coming out, you know, it is a PC. It has PC components. They are a little bit more, you know, if you want to put Steam on a PC, it does play nicer with stuff from outside of Intel and outside of NVIDIA. If you stick with AMD and, you know, ATI for how you have your console build, then you could actually do that fairly easily right now. So it's really more about, at this point in time, just getting driver support for NVIDIA video cards and making it a little bit more, I guess, accessible to Intel-based processors. But otherwise, if you are running an AMD setup, you are pretty good to go already at this point in time. You could install Steam OS on your PC now. And it does work quite nice. It's my daily driver. You know, I've been running my Steam Deck as a PC for the better part of this past year, so I can highly endorse it.
All right.
As well.
Okay. Gabriel says, might sell my Steam Deck if this is better specs wise. It's supposedly like 6 times.
It is.
It's supposed to be much more powerful. But like 6 Steam Decks is what they're claiming. So
right, but again, that's what I was saying earlier. You might want to hold on to your Steam Deck, because, like I said, you can use it in conjunction with this, and so that way, even when you are away, having access through a mobile device, then you'll be able to really optimize what your Steam Deck is capable of. So you might want to hold on to it.
Saltpeter Taffy says, my computer is old. I'm watching the Steam Cube closely. We're calling it the Gabecube, I thought.
Right. That does seem to be the consensus of.
I like that. Yeah, the Gabecube. Deadly Do Right says, I've always preferred the Xbox controllers mainly place shooters. NetPus, I don't know what that means. The Y-axis for the left stick as thumb flex in and out and turning on the right stage. Some flex in and out. I guess he prefers the X. The Duke is what we call the original Xbox controller. We call it the Duke. It's a fucking unit. Norwegian says, praise the sun. John Ford says, combat wise, Ninja Gaiden 4 is better than Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade has decent combat and there's a lot going on, but I can tell it's Shift Up's first out at an action title. My only criticism of Stellar Blade's combat is it seems that it's designed for one-on-one fights. So once you start fighting multiple enemies, Eve doesn't have like the tools for that as refined as it is for when you're fighting one-on-one. So it's not like, don't compare it to games like Ninja Gaiden or Devil May Cry, because I think those are made by like really experienced combat, you know, designers. So Deadly Dry says, sorry, text to speech. Oh, speech to text is garbage. NovaFan gives $1 on Rumble. Thank you, NovaFan. And says ChatGPT is speculating the Steam 2026 game console to be at least $400 easily. Let's revisit this because anything can change. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, if it's in the $400-$800 range, I think it'll do quite well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saul Peter Taffy says the Gabecube by Gabe Tendo. Gabe Nintendo. The Deli Durite says the Xbox 360 controller was much smaller than the Duke. Yeah, the Duke.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, very exciting stuff. Let's move on to the next story, but let us know what you guys think about this one in the comments. How do you feel about Gabecube as the name of the console? Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about Japan, do a follow-up. The image is not related, but I needed something Japanese. So there's nothing more Japanese than E-Honda.
Indeed.
So in Japan, last week we talked about these layoffs that happened in like Western branches of Square Enix. Well, it looks like there's more of this going on. A lot of other Japanese companies are cutting back on the excess fat, and figuratively and literally, of their Western branches and Western counterparts. There was a growing pushback against perceived Western pressure on Japanese developers. Japanese devs protested, and I don't know if you guys knew this, but the UN backed this. So it's UN backed, the United Nations backed global compliance mandates on representation and inclusivity. And in November, we saw METI propose policies shielding anime, manga, games from foreign censorship and political meddling, framed as protecting cultural content from woke influences like DEI hires or localizer changes. Figures like Masahiro Sakurai urged devs to prioritize personal and domestic tastes over Western trends to avoid homogenizations. So
very true.
There seems to be, and it's not just Japan, it's like Far East companies too, companies in South Korea, companies in China, and even the smaller countries like Indonesia. I believe there was a game that I demoed a while back called Acts of Blood, which was like an Indonesian action beat 'em up in the vein of like The Raid, which if you've never seen it, it's a great movie. Because like the Indonesian like entertainment industry is kind of like at a flourishing into like going into its like stepping into the arena, as it were, and they are getting like essentially woke HR department style DEI Western white women going in there and trying to tell them like what to do,
how to run things, right? Yeah,
and how to run things, and they're meddling, and it looks like Japan is. And China, but I don't think China was ever really on board.
Right.
And South Korea are all like backing off. South Korea, by the way, so sensitive to feminism. Like it's like there was a story I wanted to tell you guys really quick because I knew about this. So there was this radical feminist group in South Korea that does this symbol where it's like pinching the fingers. It's essentially an attack on South Korean men's penis size. And this is what they do this to, culturally shame Japanese men. And they're like, they call them radical feminists, but they're just regular feminists. So feminists are all the same. They're all radical, really. There's no like radical brand of feminism, okay? But and there at one point, the PR for these women is so awful. So feminism's not actually very favored in South Korea, at least not by the predominant culture. Right. And this puts them at odds in that country. But it's also what's driving their collapsing birth rates. And not to get too caught up in like the politics of a foreign country, but like it's important because there was one point where Shift Up, the developers of Stellar Blade, they put out some promotional artwork for their other popular title, Nike, Goddess of Victory. And in it, there was an image of a girl. It was just like one of the girls, one of the waifus from the game, but her hand looked a little bit like it was doing that gesture. It was purely an accident, but the pushback was severe. Like the gamers were really pissed off about it, and they came after them, and they went after the artists and everything. And it sounds like something that would happen here on the left, right. Like the other side would do that. But
Right.
the response from Shift Up was interesting because what they did was they corrected the image, they apologized for the confusion, and they just gave the gamers what they wanted. And this, of course, pissed off the feminists a lot.
Mhm.
You might also remember in South Korea, there's a movement called 4B.
Mhm.
And when Trump won the election, a whole bunch of women in America started shaving their heads and saying they're joining the 4B movement.
Right.
This
The
is
blue
like,
pearls, what the hell ever.
yeah, they were. Yeah, yeah. And but this is like the way this stuff that is connected. Like the stuff that happens in our politics or our political sphere is like affected by and affects our social and cultural spaces as well, which is
Mhm.
why I do this show because I'm looking at, how we react to things. It sort of like sets the trend, right?
Right.
So South Korea did the right thing. And I think that South Korea, Japan, and China, by avoiding all of this shit, this homogenization that's backed
Right.
by the United Nations, that's absolutely the right thing to do. And I think we should be doing it
Right.
too. And
This
yeah, so yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say this is actually that aspect of corporatism, that's ruining things that we're talking about is and
Yeah.
this is not based on, the profitability side of it. This is something else this is the stakeholder kind of, uh, overreaching, that gets into things where and this is the problems that a lot of, larger game companies face these days, which is why we are kind of, reaching this, new golden age for indie game development again is these over bloated ideological inclusivity initiatives and systems that they want to put in place don't actually mesh well with the ability for people to actually develop. I say it all the time. We want stories, not narrative design. And the UNWF for years, as I've gone into on things that I've reported on here online. This has been going on for decades of buildup and trying to infiltrate the games industry like they did other forms of media. And, we are now reaching that point where we see, uh, you know, uh, the card issuing companies, things like that, payment processors trying to bypass regional governance and trying to put these measures out there where it's like, well, you need to be beholden to this, and this, and the UN is tightly, ingrained into that whole situation as well. So, to actually see countries going and standing against that and saying that we're not going to go with it, um, that's to everyone's benefit because the more that
Mhm.
we homogenize industry and forms of entertainment, things like that, the less reason you actually have to look forward to anything. Because if everything has to play for like these wide audiences and has to be everything for everyone, why would you ever need anything more than one game? Because all you're doing at that point in time is just changing the skins, you know. So to be able to actually have cultural identity influence into the stories that are being told and the way they're told and the kind of art styles that evolve from that and the sensibilities there are on display there, for it's hilarious for these people who are all like coexist and we love diversity. They sure do seem to be trying to turn everybody into the exact same kind of mindset with the exact same kind of value
Yeah.
systems and everything like that. And so it's like in their
Identity is like
initiatives, yeah.
flat, basically. Yeah.
Right, and their initiatives to promote diversity, they end up, just destroying any aspect of individuality that, anyone can actually ascribe to, and it's all just surface levels bullshit, but, deep down, everybody has to be effectively just an automaton, so I'm in full support of, what Japan's doing here with this.
Yeah. Well, yes, yes. And they said, like we're the problem with this is, like there's Japanese developers make games that they don't look Japanese.
Right.
And so like they need to be Japanese. This is what we like about it. They have a certain aesthetic, they have a certain art style, they have a certain way of doing things. Ananta is not GTA because
Right.
it's Japanese. It's like it's and they're gonna have a different feel. So But yeah, I think that that's good. I think that like we need to like remember where we come from and let that be okay, and like use that to draw inspiration from, instead of like trying to like make everything the same, because that's
A
where it's
global
going,
village,
right?
right?
Yeah, yeah, global porridge, exactly. All right, we're gonna move on to the next story now. I have a couple of like stuff that's like throwbacks to like, oh, I remember you.
Mm-hmm.
There's like three of them, and they're all women, but that's kind of interesting. Okay, so next up, Sydney Sweeney is been getting into some trouble
Again.
because, of course, she is. Not only for her GQ interview that went viral, which I covered on a video I made on my channel, but she also recently released a film. So like she was on that GQ interview because she was
Yep.
releasing her a film called Christy. It's a biopic about a lesbian boxer. I didn't know
Mm-hmm.
that, but and apparently it didn't do well in the box office. I assume it was because it was poorly marketed, but this gave an actress who probably hasn't seen work for a long time an opportunity to climb out of the muck and throw shade at Sydney Sweeney, because nobody hates women more than other women. So
Mm-hmm.
Ruby Rose, pictured on the right, if you guys remember her, she was the former star of Batwoman, who was replaced by somebody even worse.
Right.
And an
Right, which is saying something.
yeah, yeah. And an openly queer actress unleashed a scathing public rant on Threads, that place nobody
Ooh.
goes to, uh, against Sydney Sweeney following the dismal box office performance of the boxing biopic Christy. The film, which stars Sweeney as a trailblazing lesbian boxer, Christy Martin, a 1990s champion who overcame domestic abuse and came out as gay, opened on November 7th, 2025 to a mere 1.3 million across over 2,000 screens, marking one of the worst debuts in recent history, with a per theater average of just $649. Wow. So this is like how tired people are. Like this could be a real person, but we're so over like abused woman comes out as gay and boxes. Like that's so tired. I'm sorry, Sydney Sweeney. I know that she's not based. I'm not trying to make the claim. I think that, she's just a normal person that probably thought it was stunning and brave to make a movie about a lesbian boxer that survived domestic violence, which is weird that you want to be a lesbian, because there's like a lot more domestic violence going on there. But okay, maybe she was the violent one. I don't know. Maybe that's why she went into boxing. All right, but anyway, so Ruby Rose, who revealed that she was originally attached to this project when its script was incredible and the cast included queer actors with personal ties to the material. So Ruby Rose was supposed to get the role but didn't, and she's
Mm-hmm.
mad.
Right. Big mad.
Accused Sweeney of lacking authenticity in portraying Martin. She
Oh,
branded
she's
the
not gay.
Euphoria star a cretin, later apologizing for the ableist term and swapping it for psychopath, who ruined the film, arguing that Sweeney's perceived anti-LGBTQ plus stance alienated the core audience. What? She doesn't have a stance. She's not anti-gay. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Right, right. She just if she were anti-gay, she wouldn't have taken the role.
Yeah, she took the role. Plus,
you
she's
know.
got, like I said, Sydney Sweeney is not based. She's liberal. She's just not like insane, I guess, or at least less. She's more okay with like being the object of attention, I guess.
Yeah, I think
And
I think she's just an individual that she makes the things that she wants to make, and she's
yeah,
involved in what she wants to be involved in. She does take a lot of flack because she won't join in the calling people chuds and maggots and all this kind of whatever the hell. And because since she doesn't do that, then she must be a part of that. But yeah, this thing with Ruby Rose, I would assume, because Ruby Rose, when it was fantastic, when it was fabulous, I
yeah,
think that this probably, even though it didn't do great to begin with, uh, I would imagine, and it's in the kind of movie that it is, it doesn't really need to make much. It doesn't need to do much business to make itself pay off, and maybe it'll find a
mhm,
life, you know, over the years, or ultimately recoup its whatever. But I mean, yeah, it's not really something. I'm going to run out and see anytime soon. I mean, I really don't go to the movies all that
No,
much
it's
these days. Anyways, I would much rather
I
just pay for my VPN access and just pick up
I know
anything.
what it is. It's Oscar bait. Like this is the time of
Right,
year where the Oscar bait movies come out,
right,
and
right.
they have to be about lesbians and AIDS
Gay
and
cowboys and
yeah,
yeah,
and
all
like
yeah,
transgender people and like the black struggle. It's like this is, and I think everyone knows that. So like
right,
people aren't going to the theater already. Like they're not
right,
going as often. There isn't much to draw them in,
right.
and when they do, they want to see something of a spectacle, and that's not what this is. This is like some shit
This
for people like Ruby Rose. That probably
right.
was all the money came out of the queer community.
Which
You
is kind
know,
of the irony here is that Sydney Sweeney, she's an actress first and foremost, so she's willing to actually try to, dare I say, act rather than having to identify with every role that she inhabits or anything like that. And yeah, this is an Oscar bait kind of thing, but it's she, as inflammatory as she tends to be towards those people, even though this is something that she's gotten herself involved in, they're not even going to give her any praise, no matter what. Like she's the last person, the last woman, even if she's playing a lesbian boxer or anything like that, that they're actually going to go and say, "Yes,
absolutely.
Queen, slay!" Like they're just going,
Although
they're going to look
speaking
for
of
nitpicks.
praise,
Hmm.
yeah. But speaking of praise, there is at least one person that defended Sydney Sweeney. And
Indeed,
you know who it was?
Christy Martin.
The real life subject of the film, Christy Martin herself, staunchly defended Sweeney, calling her a friend and ally at the film's Toronto premiere and during promo events, emphasizing the actress's commitment to raising domestic violence awareness through the story.
Right,
So she was literally making a movie that was like, at least part of it was about raising awareness of domestic violence. And the person she was portraying, who is alive, which is weird.
hmm
I don't know. Biopics about people who aren't dead are just kind of weird to me, but okay. um yeah, she was the one who defended her. So this was all just, again, it's just
the
venom
controversy
from
of
women to
sorts.
other women.
Right.
And just, I thought it was funny that her biggest fan was the woman that the movie was about.
Right. Well, it's like we always say around here, it's like you can never do enough to please these people, you know.
No.
So oh, well, you won't denounce Trump. You won't denounce people in the MAGA community. You won't do all this kind of stuff. So you obviously are a bigoted, racist, eugenicist, Sydney Sweeney with your good genes, dog whistling over there. Then even if she's like, all right, well, fine, I'll play this role and I'll actually do it. And the person that I'm playing the role of will go and even endorse it and co-sign it as saying that I did a good job. They're still never going to care. They're never like Sydney Sweeney. She could come out, and trooned up at a fucking gay parade in the middle of June, and these people still wouldn't, like so. She's as much as there is TDS, there's almost like an SDS, like a Sydney derangement syndrome that's brewing, especially from woke white women. I
Mhm.
so yeah, but it is kind of hilarious just the way this whole thing ultimately just exposes and reveals more about how insignificant and irrelevant Ruby Rose truly is in
Oh, absolutely.
2025.
It's so sad. She's
Right,
so desperate to be relevant.
right, right.
It's so sad. It's so sad. All right, but anyway, let's move on to the next one. Let me look at some
Indeed.
of your comments before we do. Let me see. Mm, and John Ford says, "Don't be the trend, set the trend instead." I agree, but it's really scary. It takes some balls to do that. So not everyone's gonna do it. A Norwegian says, "Isn't Ruby Rose the chick that got a role in John Wick 3 so they could have a girl boss?" Was that Ruby Rose? I
I
thought
think
Holly Berry was in John Wick 3 and she had the dogs. Is that the person you're talking about? I don't think Ruby Rose was she. Well, I don't know. I'll have to look it up. I'll look it
there.
up.
Yeah.
Gabriel says Ruby Rose looks like trans Justin Bieber. Yeah, she's always looked. That's the thing. Like these, like lesbians, they want to look like men, and they just end up
Mhm.
looking like adolescent boys. Um, Mr. 0303 says, I can believe a lesbian boxer is pretty good. She has experience.
Right? Valid.
Norwegian says, any woman that isn't staunchly feminist will be hailed as a conservative icon by the normies. Yeah, well, not hailed. Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah. So with the Sydney Sweeney thing. Yeah, I know. They'll be like, oh my God, she's based. Look, she mogged the shit out of that interviewer and she didn't take the bait. And I appreciate that. But
Right.
that, like, whatever, like that's easy to do. But I will give it credit. I give credit where credit is due. So all
She
right,
was
let
in
us know.
John Wick 2. She was in John Wick 2.
She was in John Wick 2? Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
The John Wick 3. Yeah, Holly Berry was in John Wick 3.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah.
shit, there was this one assassin chick in the Wick movie where he's got a bounty. She's got a bounty on him.
Yeah, she's a mute. She's evidently, from what I read on the Google blurb, I think she was a mute assassin, and then there was a whole. She was one of the many assassins.
They didn't want her talking, so they had to make her mute. Oh, here's the thing: you're going to be playing a character, but you're mute. Can you do that method acting?
Right.
That's a really good way to get women to shut up and just tell them you're playing a mute in this movie.
That's right. I need you to inhabit the role 24 hours
all the time, please.
That's right.
All right. Anyway, so moving on to the next thing. Okay, another face we hadn't seen in a while. On November 12th, during a special Nintendo Direct presentation, Illumination and Nintendo revealed that they're going to be making another movie, the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Mm-hmm. Now, it's a sequel to the 2023 blockbuster Super Mario Brothers movie, which I watched and enjoyed. I said, oh, this was good. Like, I think if you make a movie based on a video game, just make it fun. I enjoyed the Sonic movie. I enjoyed the Minecraft movie. I enjoyed the Mario movie. It's not that deep. Just do it up. Yes, I enjoyed the Minecraft movie. It wasn't. I wouldn't call it. It's not going to win any awards.
It's not cinema.
but yeah, it's not cinema. But it's fun, and I can, like, if you're a child that's into Minecraft, you'd probably love it. Right. Even Lindsay, who my wife, who plays Minecraft, she was getting all the references, and I'm like asking her questions, like, what are those? And she's telling me, and so like she understood like the references, right? So it does make it a little bit more pleasing, and I think that the Mario Brothers movie was sort of like that as well. But anyway. So they're making a sequel because the first one made money. And they have revealed that Brie Larson has been cast as the voice of Princess Rosalina in the film. The Oscar-winning actress, a longtime Nintendo enthusiast known for her role as Captain Marvel, will portray the enigmatic cosmic protector and guardian of the stars, a fan-favorite character first introduced in the 2007 video game Super Mario Galaxy, which I never played. But I know of the character Princess Rosalina. This casting joins other new addition, Benny Safdie as Bowser Jr., the mischievous heir to the Koopa throne, while the original ensemble returns, including Chris Pratt as Mario, Anya Taylor-Joy as Peach, Charlie Day as Luigi, Jack Black as Bowser, Keegan-Michael Key as Toad, and Kevin Michael Richardson as Kamek. Kamek is the wizard, right? It's like the Koopa wizard guy. So, a lot of people have opinions on this, and this is what I'll say about it. Brie Larson hasn't really said anything in like years. She hasn't been the center of attention. I'm not going to say that she's learned anything, but like, I get it. You gotta eat. So do the work, and I'm okay with it. It doesn't bother me. I don't want people's lives ruined forever. I just want them to learn something and maybe like have some humility in the future. So she hasn't said anything. I don't know if anyone. I don't. We'll see if she makes any stupid statements again.
I kind of think she's past that phase.
Yeah, I suspect that. What I would suspect is that on some level, if you worked at Disney, there was probably a culture of elitist, like liberal snobbery that was all over the place. Which is why you had people like Brie Larson, like whoever played She-Hulk. I don't remember her fucking name.
Yeah, well, if you're in a boiling pot, you're gonna warm up, right? So yeah, even even if you, because I worked at the doctor's office, I was surrounded by woke white women, all the
Yeah.
time, and it will coat your sensibilities. Like they'll be tone policing all this kind of stuff. So I think that yeah, during her time at Disney, yeah, she was certainly encouraged initially to be, the the B of Brie that we have known her as in the past, but clearly that didn't work too well for her, and she has in recent times when
Yeah.
people try to go and get those statements from her so they can have their yes queen moments and whatnot, she has at least learned that much that she's like, can we just talk about the movie? Let's not, let's not focus on me as a person. Like that's not really what this is about, So I will at least give her credit in that regard. And if she can separate her own personal whatever from the work itself, then she can believe whatever the fuck she wants. I don't really care. Yeah.
Like, yeah, like I said, like I think that because she was in Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I
Mhm.
thought she was fine in that.
Yeah.
And I liked that movie for what it was. It's a little bit of an ADHD trip, but it's enjoyable. I just think she was poorly cast as Captain Marvel, and I actually don't think
Mhm.
that Captain Marvel as a character should have been in the movie. I think they should have gone more towards either Ms. Marvel as a character, which was the Carol Danvers before she was Captain Marvel. That was a decision made at the comic book level, right, by the editors
Yeah.
and stuff, which I thought was bad. But I don't think she was a good fit for that role anyway. I
Yeah,
didn't
no.
think that
No.
she was a good fit for the character. I would have liked maybe trying to think of some other women that could have played the role better. Um Mackenzie Davis
Mm.
or Natalie Dormer. I like Natalie Dormer. She was in Game of Thrones. Um, I'll show you some pictures so that you guys can see. So this is Mackenzie Davis. She's cute, and Natalie Dormer
Mhm.
from Game of Thrones. They probably would have been better, and they probably wouldn't have like been insufferable.
Right.
Those are my thoughts. But I think that like the the Captain Marvel is doomed because of the people working at Marvel at the time. Not so much Brie Larson, although, like I said, she's definitely put her foot in her mouth a number of times. But I have to I'm going to allow for some grace and say, you know what, like, do the work, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So I liked the Super Mario movie. I thought it was all right. So, um, would a male actor who publicly shot on black women still have a job? Well, I'm not making. That's the thing, though, is that I'm not in the business of canceling people. I think it's wrong no matter what.
Yeah.
So, and we just don't watch her movie, and I didn't. I mean, I didn't watch Captain Marvel. So, um, but anyway, so yeah, I mean, again, to me, like, you got to let people. You got to let people figure it out, and I think people can change. And
Mhm.
I'm not saying that she has or hasn't, but I'm just saying like she hasn't said anything since what the Marvels completely
Yeah.
flopped in theaters. Like when
Yeah.
that movie flopped, she disappeared, and
Yeah.
maybe it was
And
like
even
let me
during
take a
the
step back and think about things. I don't know,
yeah, and
you
even
know.
during those press junkets, she was very much actively saying, "Let's not ask me stupid questions." Like I don't need to deal with that bullshit. I've said
Yeah,
enough stupid shit already. So, yeah, and much like you were saying, yeah, I thought she was great in Scott Pilgrim. She actually has, at least at the time, she had a really good singing voice because she actually did the vocals
yeah.
on
Again, I'm just
the show.
giving
Yeah,
credit where it's due.
yeah,
Like she did fine in that movie. Like I don't
yeah,
have any personal attachments to any actors,
right,
so they're just there to do a job, and if they do it well, I'll
right,
give them credit.
right,
So, like I think that Alex Ross is a fantastic artist, but I don't want to hear his political opinions.
right.
Um, but anyway, yeah. So not just a little thing like I said, if you're not interested in the Mario movie, then that's fine. But it doesn't bother me. I thought that we'll see what happens on the red carpet. If she says something stupid, then we'll come back and cover it.
Right.
Um, and she might. I mean, this it's a pretty decent chance. Who knows? But I'm betting that role of Rosalina is probably not that big anyway. But I don't know. She's in the trailer. It's at the end of the
Yeah,
trailer.
the
So
trailer does kind of have Captain Marvel-esque kind of. She goes and destroys shit.
Well,
And,
I guess the character of Rosalina is powerful
right.
in the
But I
video
was going
game.
to say, but
So,
that is an aspect of the character itself.
yeah.
But yeah, the trailer when because we watched it earlier this week over on Will's channel on the day that it debuted. I think it was on Thursday, Tuesday or Thursday, either way. But when it came out, I did not see the first Super Mario Brothers movie. I haven't really been big into Nintendo since it fell out of fashion with me back with the Wii, and they effectively said that they wanted grandmas to play their console more than me. But I don't take away from anybody, especially if you got kids and stuff like that. You go watch these stuff. It's not going to be any skin off my ass. I don't really have any kind of high aspirations to go and watch the second one. Even if there is stuff in there that might be like, it's I'm not the audience for this. So I'm going to be pretty laxed on trying to lay any kind of specific judgment at it one way or the other. But the trailer did not really have much in the way of action scenes involving any of the male characters. But that could just be, to some degree, uh, a method to avoid getting a whole bunch of fucking flack and bullshit. Because
Maybe. I mean,
'cause
I don't have like
well,
really like I don't really have a ton of interest in watching it.
right.
All,
Well,
all I'm
'cause
saying is I did end up watching the first one, but it was because I was with someone else who wanted to watch it, and I just sat
right.
down with them and watched
And the
it,
point I was
and I
getting at
didn't
is
hate it when it was over. But it's not like I'm not at all
right.
making a recommendation. I'm
Right.
not
Well,
saying go watch it,
that's right. Well, the point I'm getting at is I know that when the first movie came out, they did kind of a similar thing with the press material as well, the trailers and everything like that. They kind of, because everybody was like, "Oh, is Peach going to be a girl boss?" But then when you actually watch the movie, I guess it's still Mario's still the actual legitimate main protagonist. So
It's just kind of like she kind of trains him, but yeah,
right. So I don't necessarily take a trailer as this is what you're going to get in the movie. I know that there are a lot of trailers these days that will show you pretty much the movie from beginning to end, but I don't think that that's necessarily the case in this one. I think they just put in a few action scenes, this and that, and try to like give coverage to all the various players in the story.
yeah,
We'll see. We'll know more once it comes out, I guess. If
yeah,
there's
yeah.
anything
We'll see.
but
Well,
yeah.
this is what I think is going on right now is that like these are the new kids movies because
Mhm.
Disney's not doing kids movies.
Right.
They're doing like queer theory movies where like there's like kids confused about their gender and stuff.
Right.
And but like something that's legitimately seems to be like wholesome enough that kids can watch it without getting like trooned. I think I'm all for, but I think that's just the trend that's happening is that these films based on video games are basically the new family movies right now
Right.
because the people that we used to rely on to give us those aren't doing it, like Disney, Pixar, and even DreamWorks. So instead, we're getting, the Sonic movie, which I watched, and again, I was like, this is totally a family movie, a Minecraft movie, and the Mario movie.
Mhm.
And I don't know what else there is. So they seem to all be based on, popular game franchises. So expect a, you know, Stardew Valley movie or something. I don't know. Like that's probably or a Fortnite movie. That's probably we're gonna draw from in the future for
Right.
our entertainment. So like I see
Okay.
it as a family film, and maybe that's it's gonna pay less. You're not gonna win any Oscars, but it is a market that I guess needs some attention. So
Right.
all right. I'm gonna go to the last. Oh, I got two more things to cover. I think we can get through this.
Yep.
But let me look at your comments really quick. So, Mr. O3 says anything with Jack Black is an immediate pass for me. Fair enough. I don't watch anything with him in it on purpose anyway. Only if Lindsay wants to, or if I'm with somebody else.
Right.
Um, Norwegian says poor Luigi. The guy can never catch a break. Mr. 303 says, I want her career ruined. You're talking about Brie Larson. I think it is.
Yeah.
I don't think she's really gonna recover in the same way. Besides, she's getting older too. So if you look at like the thing with Hollywood starlets is they usually like end up disappearing, like Kirsten Dunst or who was it? Jennifer Lawrence. I guess she's got like something new coming out with Miss Piggy, but like nobody cares. Emma Stone.
Right.
Like they usually don't usually last that long unless they're like really talented, like and they can like go into their old age.
Right.
So
Which
I
is
think
why
her
a lot
career
of
is
them set up
on the down. Yeah, it's on the downslide now.
yeah.
So
Yeah, which is why a lot of them set up their own production houses and push a lot of ultimately
yeah,
feminist insanity that has magnified and multiplied over the years, because that is kind of the trajectory.
yeah. Master Goa says, "Lol, I just encountered an NPC in the beginning of Where Winds Meet. Apparently, the game lets you type whatever you want to say to him, and it openly says he is AI chatbot. You got to befriend AI chatbots. Well, you get to. Can you like bring them with you on adventures and stuff? That was a mod that I saw Sargon played with. He played Skyrim, and there was a mod where he put AI on like a giant, and he befriended the giant, and he was like telling the giant to do things, and it would do them. I
Right.
thought it was kind of neat.
Yeah, no, that is cool.
So, Ms. 033 says, "I'm not canceling. I'm just not giving money to people who hate me." Yep, I agree with
Exactly.
that.
Yeah.
And he says, "Reminder that Jack Black wished for Trump to die." Yes, I think it was his bandmate that said it, but yeah, he was complicit. Again, yeah, that's all fair. That's all fair stuff.
I'm
So
pretty sure it was Pete Gass who was the one who said the thing. Yeah.
yeah, it was Pete Glass, right? Is that his name or Gas?
Gas.
Gas. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it was him. But anyway, let us know what you guys think about this one in the comments. All right. Next up, one more flashback. We're going to be talking about Alyssa Mercante again because she's been going after Geoff Keighley. You guys know about that? Okay.
Oh, I read the article. Oh man, this is something from the week. Good God.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not read the
Kyle
article.
Gas, and they immediately canceled their tour. Yeah, it was canceled because of what he said. Yeah. So okay, anyway, getting distracted.
Pete Gass is
so Alyssa Mercante on November 11th, 2025, Mercante co-authored a Guardian article, or a hit piece rather, entitled, here, I'll show it to you all here. We were effectively props. Young stars of game development feel let down by the gaming Oscars.
Yeah, I read this article the other night on Toasties. It's terrible. It's a terrible article. I would not suggest. I mean it's written to Alyssa's standards, which means that it's just a whole bunch of coping and seething for way too many paragraphs. The funny thing about this though is Jay Viper. He brought this to attention before anybody else this week, and he put out a video suggesting that because we know she was at the Game Awards last year, right? And she evidently did not get invited this year, and so she started pressuring around August about, "Hey, you're gonna send me press tickets, Alyssa. You're not gaming press anymore. You're just not. Deal with it." And if it weren't for your connections to Taylor Lorenz, you wouldn't be doing bylines for Rolling Stone or The Guardian. So you're desperately clinging on. And so she got into like this big whole thing about how you either give me, she's like, "I know you need seat fillers, and you either hook me up with a ticket," and they're like, "Well, you're welcome to buy your own ticket." And so she got all pissed off, basically saying to Geoff, "Well, if it sure would be a bad thing if someone should write an article about you and try to tear you down because I'm not getting a ticket to the show." And the best part is when it's all said and done with, Smash JT actually got invited to go to the Game Awards this year.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So the complete deviation. I was joking, saying that he needs to put a dad pin in the side of his hair because he's just a good dad. But yeah, JT talked about it with Jay Viper because, like I said, he did better journalistic research than Mercante herself, because in her article she's going on about this thing called the futures class, right? And and the reason why she says that she wants to be a seat filler, or that they have seat fillers, is in the article. People from the Futures class, one of their complaints was that they were seated at the Gamer Awards in an obstructed view just to fill. And it's like, yeah, because you are glorified seat fillers, but generally a seat filler is just a job that people sit there for 5 minutes, or if someone leaves early, they'll, have someone sit there. But ultimately, she was trying to angle her way into the Gamer Awards under the threat that she would publish this article if he didn't comply. So kind of trying to do some, it seems like blackmail to a degree, but ultimately all she did was expose the fact that the Futures class did themselves no favors, decided that because they were, they realized, they're like, you guys treat us like we were just tokenized and here for some kind of public, publicity stunt that is all about good PR. It's like, yeah, that's exactly what DEI is. And when you go and tell them that they need to grandstand about the suffering in Palestine and make that part of their show, they stop, because they started this program back in 2020, and they would do 50 inductees. So they got about around 200 inductees in total. They didn't do it last year, and they're definitely not doing it this year. The website's been completely abandoned. You can still find it through the Wayback Machine, all this kind of stuff. But yeah, it's just a whole bunch of pretentious woke fuckery. And Alyssa was trying to capitalize on that just to try to angle a seat for herself, which last I checked, you complain about not having money. You live in New York, the Gamer Awards are in California. Why do you need to fly all the way fucking across the country to something that doesn't even serve, your interests anymore, because you're not a gaming journalist. You never really were. Good God,
yeah.
Alyssa.
Well, anyway. I mean, she is by modern gaming
by modern standards,
yeah,
yes.
I mean, like, they're all shit. Like, somebody else who wrote an article about this is another throwback. Patricia Hernandez wrote for Polygon on the same topic.
Journalist.
Yes. They're all classics. They're all classics. So,
that was the other thing that got mentioned, is that not just her, but all of her cohorts all put out articles about this, all in basically the same 24-hour period. Yes.
People from Sweet Baby Inc. that supposedly were not in any way connected to her.
Right.
That were all involved as well. There's a Whisper network. And this is like, it's the same old thing. It's been this way since the Gamergate started back in 2013, 2014.
Yeah,
Kim Bel-Air. Whisper network, Randy Harper and all those, people, and they all talk to each other, and then they act like they don't. They act like it's all organic. Remember, in the article that Alyssa Mercante wrote, first sentence is, video games have long struggled with diversification and inclusivity.
Mm-hmm.
So it's no surprise when the Game Awards host and producer Geoff Keighley announced the Future Class program in 2020, its purpose was to highlight a cohort of individuals working in video games as the bright, bold, and inclusive future of the industry. And here I thought, according to Alyssa's own words, that the games industry is diverse naturally. Not because anyone was making it diverse, because the world is diverse, you stupid motherfucker.
Right, exactly. And to the point you were making, Kim Bel-Air openly in GameIndustry.biz, where she's a contributing writer, or at least used to be, openly talked about running a Whisper network, specifically for getting the boys club out and all this kind of stuff. And this runs thick and deep. One might call what they're doing to Geoff Keighley almost seems like a targeted, coordinated harassment campaign of sorts, and all for the purpose of what? So Alyssa can sit there and feel as though she's somehow being catered to and glorified. She's sitting here like, talking about how like this is all performative. What you're doing is performative. You are exploiting these exploited DEI exploitees yourself simply to get a fucking seat at an award show that is just stealth marketing. Like this is
well, she's trying to use it's just the same
old disingenuous,
same old tactic. Like basically she's trying to use shakedown tactics on Geoff Keighley to get tickets.
Right, but
she's basically saying you're not inclusive if you don't let me come. If you don't
but then she's leaning on these DEI people, being an ally to them, so that she
using
gets
them.
something. So that she gets something. You know, it's just
That's what they do. Yes, this is like I said. It's the same old. It's the same old song. Nothing new here. Just like the way it always works. But you know what? I'm kind of like, let them fight.
Oh yeah, oh
That's
yeah.
my thing.
Seriously,
Like,
I'm more interested in either
let them
the
fight.
real Game Awards or my personal favorite, the J Awards, which you know, because quite honestly, the Game Awards, as I just said, stealth marketing. You're not going to see them
Yeah.
celebrating the year of the independent game, you know, domination that was 2025. That's not what this thing is going to be about. It's going to be about highlighting things from Sony, from Microsoft, you know,
Yeah, it's
from
going to be a
all
giant
the
ad as
yeah,
usual. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it's kind of an irrelevant thing, but the fact that they invite Smash JT there this year, uh,
That's crazy.
all while Alyssa is in the background pissing and moaning and coping and seething and frothing at the mouth. That's the only thing where I'm just like, you know what? Good on you, Geoff.
That's
You know,
amazing.
yeah,
Yeah.
like that. Just for the spiteful factor of it all, I would at least give them, you know, like I said, I'll give praise where it's due. Still doesn't mean that I give two shits about the Game Awards, but I do think
No, yeah,
that
same.
I do certainly hope, because it's right there in JT's backyard. He might as well go to it, and
He's
hopefully.
in Vegas though, right?
No.
In
He
Vegas?
lives in down in San Diego, if I remember correctly.
Oh, okay.
It's some parts of
That
California,
must
but
be the name of somebody else.
the Game Awards will be in San Francisco.
Yeah,
I do believe. So,
he shouted me out once, and I watched the video clip. Thanks to the guys in Discord that
mhm.
set me up with that. And I guess I'd like to go on his stream or have him on mine sometime, but there is like a big time gap, and but I'm willing to do it. So like if I
I
find a
have
topic
streamed.
that if I find a topic that he's interested in that's timely, I'll probably like see if there's any way that somebody can let him know that I will go on his
I
stream.
I am
And
one of JT's mods over on his channel, but it's because
uh-huh.
I've streamed. I streamed with him. Technically, I have streamed with him a couple times, but I streamed with him directly on his show one time when he was getting the strike kind of threat to his channel, and
Yeah.
he was trying to figure out how to multi-stream using Rumble, and I explained it to him from the chat. And this was also around the time that Ryan ended up getting deplatformed because they were talking. He was going to start doing Saturday Night Smashers after Saturday Night Hypnosis, and so I was on there with JT and Ryan and Helzo, who I also stream with on Sundays on WTF Live, and it. Unfortunately, he wasn't very happy with the way that it turned out. So, even though I have technically been a guest on his channel, that video it's been memory hold. But I do have some limited contact with him. So at some point in time, hopefully, because people have mentioned to me that I should get him uh, to kind of be more knowledgeable of your work in recent weeks as well. So yeah, no, it's in the back of my mind. So you do actually
Oh,
have
it's
a
okay.
tenuous connection there.
Right, I know. No, it's okay. I just think maybe I'll get a chance to go on there and talk to him
Yeah,
sometime, because I think it could be a good conversation. So
indeed,
if the
JT's a
opportunity
good
comes,
dude.
but I'll just wait until something happens that's relevant. All right. Anyway, let's see. Let me grab some comments from you guys. I think we've like beaten this horse sufficiently.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
so Gabriel says, oh no, Norwegian says, man, Mercante never learns ever. No, they always double down, guys. Gabriel says Dorito Pope is unimpeachable. He says Mercante is upset she will never achieve a gamer baptism. She is not one of us. Deadly Do Right says that picture of Alyssa Mercante reminds me of the black guy with hydroencephality with an IQ in the 40s that was going around the internet a few years ago. Same small head. Oh,
Right.
I have to look. I don't remember that.
Yeah, well, I
Celsius
know
asked
this
me,
image is taken from that documentary that she was a part of with Sugar Bear and all them.
oh, really? No,
Yeah, that's.
I just looked up a crazy-eyed image of
Oh
her.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, this is a clip from the trailer from. I can't remember the name of the documentary, but it was all about inclusivity in gaming and
Yeah.
whatnot. It
Oh,
was
of
just
course it was.
yeah,
She doesn't know anything else.
right,
It's like
right.
anyway. I remember when she was on like David Jaffe's stream, and they like this is when I think Jaffe had her on, and they were like
Hmm.
they were basically going through to get her gamer cred, and she was talking about how she plays Marvel Rivals, and her main is Cloak and Dagger. I just want to point out, Cloak and Dagger are very easy to play. Like, there's nothing to that. I played them the first time I played the game just to learn it. So, but anyway, Saltpeter Taffy says, "Is it too late to fight her physically?" I don't think so. Master Goa says, "Let them eat Doritos." Master Goa then says, "The game journos have always colluded together, but I love it that they are turning on their ally Geoff." Yes, Gabriel says, "Shake down the Dorito Pope." Loudest stealth marketing I ever done saw. Saltpeter Taffy says, "I like to imagine the spirit of Alec Haloka is enacting wrathful vengeance on these people." Yeah, you know what I learned the other day is Alec Haloka made music. And I was listening to like on Spotify, I was just listening to random video game music. I just got this playlist and I was just kind of like, I wanted to hear the different video game music because I was thinking about like what some of my most favorite music is. And the reason, by the way, this is all coming back to the culture, right? So like TV is shit right now, with save for a couple of shows that I've heard good things about, like Tulsa King and that one with Billy Bob Thornton. But a lot of it's garbage, and movies are almost all garbage. So video games is like the only place left where there's some good stuff. And so I was thinking about video game. I mean, music is trash too, right? Like it's like rap has never been in worse shape, and some people never liked it, but I used to. But then and so I was listening to like video game music on playlist that was just like stuff from all throughout history, like going all the way back to like the 8-bit NES stuff to like new shit that just dropped, like Arc Raiders music and stuff. Right. And I came across something called that Alec Haloka did, and I didn't know this, but he did music for a game called hold on a second, I'm just waiting for this to load up. Night in the Woods. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So I'm not going to play any of it right now. I could like later if you guys are curious, but it's interesting that he literally came up in my mind like yesterday, and I was thinking about Alec Haloka, which is interesting because of what we do here, because you know he was essentially driven to suicide by Zoe Quinn and their Whisper network. So
all
right. Dean Domino says, "I super chatted Arch on his Thursday stream about having you on one of his shows, Brian. Did he say anything? Did he read it?" Norwegian says, "Mercante wouldn't even be able to defeat the Asylum Demon."
She is the Asylum Demon. I often refer her as Asylum Mercante.
Killed by the boulder that rolls down and then like quit. Right. You know, David Jaffe didn't finish Dark Souls. He hated that game because he struggled with it.
Well,
and I was like, it's not God of War. You're not going to mash your way through it. You got to think. Think, David. Think. Anyway,
that and he was hallucinating on marijuana, as he said. So
yeah, that's true.
Which,
all right.
I've never had hallucinations with greens.
Right. So that's the I mean, like the only thing I have left is just like a quick mention of this game Where Winds Meet, which I guess it launched just the other day.
Like yesterday. I got an early morning emergency. I need a thumbnail. Can you do this for me right now? Text message from Heavenly Jester, and
you're gonna be talking about it.
Yeah, well, he said the game was coming out and he was going to buy it and he was going to do game streams. So he needed something to put on thumbnail. So he had me make one yesterday. So I do know that it's out as of yesterday, and I imagine he did a game stream. So I'm sure he was giving real time review of sorts while he was doing that. I haven't had a chance to check it out yet, but I have seen stuff for this over the course of the past year. It definitely looks quite interesting.
Well, I downloaded it and I jumped into like just the opening just to see it, because it's not on my like list of games that I'm interested in, but I didn't know it was free. I thought it was just like,
I didn't know that.
Wu Chang Fallen Feathers or whatever, one of those more other like Chinese like wuxia games. And I still haven't picked up Wukong because I'm waiting for it to go on sale. I figure since it's a single player experience, it doesn't really matter. Like I can probably wait, however long. But since this one was free, I was like, well, I'll go ahead and just download it and look at it. And if I don't like it, I'll just, uninstall it or whatever.
Yeah.
but it does. There's some interesting things that's going on with this. So, and then I thought it was kind of interesting for some of the stuff they're doing. And somebody in the live chat, hello, Iris Rhoda, welcome. Somebody in the live
Rhoda,
chat
another one of my
said,
co-hosts.
yeah, somebody in the live chat said they were playing it. I think it was Master Goa, or maybe it was John Ford. I don't remember who it was. And I apologize for missing that, but I did read it right at the beginning. So, yeah, so anyway, so Where Winds Meet is a free-to-play open-world wuxia action RPG from Everstone Studios and NetEase, launched on November 14th, so it came out yesterday. And but apparently it's got like an action game, so it's got like, you know, martial arts combat with like parries and dodges and weapons, and there's different styles and customization of characters. One thing that I guess is like the way that the DE, you guys are aware of the website DEI Detected, right? This is Cabrutus's official website, and he works with Gothic Therapy. They like write articles, and he gets other people to write articles on there as well. And they have like a rating system for game. Let me go to DEI Detected real quick, so you guys can see how they do things, because it's interesting, because it's essentially, it always like is like, okay, you know, you guys decide what you want to do. So you can go to any article, and they'll have a section here, latest detections, and they'll tell you there's levels to the DEI. Okay. So I wonder if they have it in, yeah, DEI levels are explained right here. So DEI free is they have nothing in it at all. Okay. This is more personal, as it reflects my own recommendations based on direct experience, which is why it takes much longer to add a game to this level than any other. So this is Cabrutus's like list. DEI level 1 are not necessarily DEI games, but they include one or small simple DEI oriented design choices that may be interpreted as political statements. So they might include implicit censorship, implementing subtle modifications to character appearances and dialogues in order to comply with objectives, avoidance of traditional male and female terminology. So they may like not use male and female. They might do something like body type 1 and 2 or A and B, and then narrative changes to comply with politically correct standards. So adjusting storylines. And level 2 is, you know, more of that, and level 3 is like the most heavy in that, right? So one of the games that is considered a DEI level 1 is Elden Ring. Now I love Elden Ring. I think it's a fantastic game, but it does have, you know, the body types, because that's why it gets that marker. So level 1 because there's body type A and B. I don't think, I mean, and the thing is too, is that like even old FromSoft games, they had sliders that would like let you make characters more, they would call it masculine and feminine. So it wasn't just like male and female, because you could like adjust the sliders to make like a masculine looking woman or a feminine looking man if you wanted to. I think that generally, like, I'm forgiving of all that stuff, though. I don't think the A and B thing is that bad. I mean, yeah, it is. I think it's just become kind of normalized, and that's a problem. But we're kind of here now. So,
but if that's your biggest offense, that is kind of on the low end of things.
Yeah, but Where Winds Meet did have that. It does have that body type A and B. So at least so far, that is one thing that you're going to see if you check it out. But the characters are attractive. The women look like women. The men look like, you know, Asian men. So it has like have you guys ever read what do they call the Chinese manga? They have like a word for it. Not manhua, because that's Korean, but Chinese comic books. Like the characters all look like that. They're right out of that. And they have this interesting thing where you can customize your character in other ways that I thought were kind of interesting. Number one, you can upload a photo yourself. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to give China my information to that level. But you can do that.
All right. Although I was going to say, although to be fair, I'd almost rather China have my private information than my own government at this point.
Yeah. So, but like you can upload a photo and it'll make a character based on that. But the other thing too is that I'm just not that. I was never the kind of person that made myself in a video game. Like I don't know why but when you have a game where you can make custom characters, the first thing you go to is yourself. Like I don't know, I just think that's not very imaginative.
Well, I can say for myself, because you know, I've been making character model stuff you know, since a little kid. So I used to do that in wrestling games. Obviously, I'd
Yeah.
make like a
Oh,
kind of
sure. I made my friends
idealized
in those
version of
games.
myself.
I made all my friends
And
in
then
them. Yeah.
right, and for me, because I know my face and I know my physiology, I will usually use that as a way to test how good the character editor is. Because, quite honestly, I look like default character number 7,
Yeah, yeah, sure.
in a lot of games. So I always just check to see, oh, can you make a guy that looks like me, right?
Mhm.
But I did that in Cyberpunk 2077, and that is perhaps the most accurate recreation of me that has ever been that I've ever made in any game. Because it even has the white beard with the darker scruff on the side
Sure.
and the,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
the hair pulled back. Yeah, it looks spot on, specifically like me. But I will generally do that just to kind of test out what it's capable of. But generally speaking, especially in games where you can play through it, with a good replayability factor, I will immediately thereafter I'll make a female character that's just kind of a little bit more room to explore. And hey, I get paid to look at tits and ass on the internet, so
Yeah.
I
Well,
like to do it in my free
you can
time as
definitely
well.
do that. I'm gonna make a
Indeed.
dude. I'm gonna make a dude. I thought about making a woman, but the thing is, I love kung fu movies and like
Hmm.
the old ones from like the 70s and 80s. And I've always wanted to play a game that encompasses that. And the only thing I have, I mean, there have been games that have attempted that. Like there's this one on the PS2. Just I played it on this channel called Bujin Guy, the Forsaken City, and that was pretty good. It had an interesting system, and then there was like what was the other one I was thinking about? Oh yeah, there's a fighting. Fighting games do it, but they're not great about it. But there is like one that is like a little indie game that I picked up. I believe it's called. I'm just trying to find it. Shaolin versus Wu Tang. Of course it is.
Hmm.
And Shaolin versus Wu Tang 2. And the thing is about those games is that they like literally like take characters from kung fu flicks and put them in the game. So like they literally just put them in there and they're named
Right.
after the fighting styles. So there's like a character named Eagle and there's a character named Tiger, things like that. Um, and I love that stuff because I grew up on kung fu flicks, on
Right.
Samurai Sunday. It was like a thing that I used to watch, and I have a bunch on DVD because I don't think you can get them anywhere. I think you can watch them on Amazon or something, but I'd rather just own them. So I've always
Right.
wanted it, and I always been a fan of the Monkey King as well. Even before I fully understood what it was, I was just drawn to that. So while the one game I am waiting for that I'm really interested in is oh man, what is it called? It's a action game that I am for some reason forgetting. It's like Black something, and it has really cool looking. I wonder if it's on my wish list. It might not even be in here yet, but that one was one I was really looking forward to, and I'm trying to see if it's on my list here. God, I'm always forgetting this shit. But it is a very cool, like looking sword with a really cool combat fighting action game. Sorry, action game
Hmm.
with a really cool fighting system. Pretty similar in like what it looks like, something kind of like Black Myth Wukong, but it doesn't. You're not playing the Monkey King. You're playing like a swordsman, and it looks very good. But I don't see it here. I don't know why don't I see it here. Well, it doesn't really matter. It might be buried in here someplace. Maybe I didn't
Right.
put it on my wish list, but I definitely had my eye on it for a while.
I'm sure it'll
Um,
resurface soon enough.
yeah, yeah. Like I put Wu Chang Fallen Feathers, but I kind of decided
Hmm.
not to get that one. I don't know yet. Like I want something really cool, like really over the top. But this I'll try it out for a while and see. Maybe I'll stream it. I don't know. If you guys want, maybe I'll stream it this week or something, just while I dip into it a little bit. And if I find it's a little bit of a grind, I'm probably not going to stick to it because I'd rather just play. But apparently, getting back to what the game has, like another thing they let you do is if you don't know what you want your character to look like, you can record it will record your voice so you can say a few things and it'll like build a face based on what you sound like.
Interesting.
That's interesting, right? And I guess because it is like an online game, there's going to be like voice chat in the game.
Hmm. Right.
So it tries to make a character that looks like what you sound like. And
That's cool.
yeah, and then the other thing is you could just customize. They have like a bunch of presets, and then you can customize like and do like crazy faces. Like somebody made like a SpongeBob face, and it looks
Mhm.
just like SpongeBob. And I'm like, wow, that's there's a lot there. Like there's definitely a lot you can play with.
Nice.
So yeah, and apparently, according to somebody who sent me a message from before, apparently there is AI like NPCs in the game.
Mhm.
So this, yeah, it was Master Goa. I talked to an NPC in the beginning. It lets you. There are AI chatbots in the game. So it was Master Goa that said that. And I don't know, like that's interesting, but it's also a little bit concerning. A little bit concerning. Like, I mean, just because if you're talking to AI, that it could be like remember or recording everything, you know. So that's a little bit concerning. I don't know what will come of that, but it seems like this could be the next, and that's why I'm interested in it, because it does look like it's sort of like touching on the next, let's say,
Foray
level
into
of this.
games. Yeah.
Yeah, because like I was saying, like I demoed some AI games. Like, there's a couple of them. There was one where you have to escape a room from like a psycho girlfriend, or she's not even really your girlfriend, she just claims to be. And if you try to
Right.
leave, stabs you to death. But you have to like you have to talk her
Talk her down.
slowly. Yeah, you have to talk her out of like killing you, or like talk her into like letting you go, or even leaving with you. So like, and you use AI, it's all like either type or voice chat, and she like responds. And then there was another game where I think it was called Whispers in the Stars or something like that. Phantom Blade Zero. Thank you, Robert Johnson. Yes, Phantom Blade Zero. That's the one.
Yeah, all
Yeah,
right. Yeah, I was
yeah.
sitting there. I was like, I know, it's got like, I'm like Project Zero. I'm like, no, that's not it.
No,
I
no, it's
think
Phantom
I
Blade
couldn't,
Zero.
but yeah,
Yeah,
Phantom Blade
that
Zero. Yeah,
that
so
one I'm
I
interested
knew
in.
what you were talking about, but I
Yeah,
couldn't
that's
remember
the
the
one
name
I'm
of
looking
it
at.
either.
But
Yeah,
again, I'll see. I'm not gonna get every kung fu game, but the one with the best, like that looks like the most fun, because I'm looking for something that has that same like replayability and fun factor that the old Ninja Gaidens or Metal Gear Rising or Vanquish or Bayonetta, like
hmm,
that stuff. That's what I want. So if Phantom Blade Zero has that, then yeah, I'm all about it. Um, but anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, yeah. So like AI seems to be like there's no getting away from it. It's here now, right? So I'm curious to see the different creative ways that developers will implement AI into the gameplay. And so, I mean, this is just where we're at now. So all we can do is essentially like hope that um this this is like, I don't know, this is a bit scary, because like I'm about to say something like that sounds really naive when I say I hope that the people that are pushing this technology are ethical, but the truth is like they're probably going to be a mixed bag, and some of it's not going to be so good.
right,
So it's a bit worrying, but it's still like what's happening. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's no getting away from it, really.
right.
Um,
I think that's life in general at this point in time.
Yeah,
Everything's a
yeah,
mixed
AI is not
bag, you
just
know.
gonna be in our hobbies and entertainment. It's not just like, Sora 2 videos of like hilariously inappropriate trailers for
Hmm.
Pixar and Disney. It's gonna be like everywhere. It's gonna be, in our day-to-day life, even if we like try to unplug completely. So we might as well be keeping an eye on what's going on and talking about
Right,
it. So,
right.
you know.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
no, the the I'm sure anything that you're putting some kind of user input into on some level is taking that data and selling it to other third parties to do God knows what with. So it's kind of the state of reality. You either accept
Yeah.
it for what it is, or don't. You just have to become a complete luddite and move to Amish country.
You
And
could do that too. Yeah. But
but
then the
that but
robots
the
would just come find you. So,
right,
we
right,
they're just gonna send the hunter killers or whatever.
right.
So yeah, we just gotta like just keep your eyes open. I don't know what to say. Get some guns. All right. Anyway, I mean, if you're in the UK, you can't get guns, and I'm sorry, but in America, get some guns. I know that I've been talking about it. Lindsay and I are gonna get her a revolver of some kind, and I might look into like a AK-47 or something. I know I have a guy that goes to my church. He's got an AK. He's gonna let me try it out. So we'll see. I might, because the AK is it's reliable. So, all right. Anyway, we're gonna end the show there. So I thought that was like a good length. And yeah, John.
Yeah, we got some
Let
kick
me
at the
look at
end.
some comments and then we'll
Yeah,
close
yeah,
out.
yeah,
So
yeah.
all right. Dean Domino says Arch did read it and was open to it. I think I already read that, but I appreciate it. Rhoda says, "Hey everyone, yes." And then he says, "I don't like the A and B thing, to be honest, but so long as they're not too androgynous, it's not a deal breaker." I agree with that. I mean, again, I think that's kind of like, I don't know. Like, I think if you say I'm not playing a game if it has A and B, even if it does everything else right, you might be
a little too sensitive.
Well, man, no, I mean, if you have something you like, you can just play
Yeah,
that.
I know,
But you
but
might be limiting your, like,
right, right. But that's what I mean by just a little
your,
too sensitive. It's
yeah.
because it's good to have sensitivities and preferences and things
I
like
don't
that.
think it's a deal breaker,
but I
but
don't.
I'm not a
Yeah,
fan. That's what I'll
right,
say. So
right.
I think that it's a little bit bending to the mob. And the thing is, there is no mob. These people are a loud minority. Norwegian says, "I'm all for character creators that let you make freaks of nature for shits and giggles." Yeah, this game definitely does that. And the Souls games do too. I made Giga Chad in Elden Ring, and I'm gonna make Kanye West in Elden Ring as well. So, Master Go says Chinese comics manhua, Korean comics manhua. It's the same. What are you talking about? What is that?
It's maybe it's the
spelling is a
intonation or
little
something.
bit. The spelling is a little bit different,
Right.
but it's one is a W and the other one's a U, but it's gonna
Right.
sound the same. I'm sorry. Gabriel says you can get guns in the UK, it's just more restrictive. Norwegian says Brian is in his jihadi era. Master Girl says Shenmue was great for how the game taught your character martial arts when you learned from masters. I tried to play Shenmue way back in the day, and I just didn't get it. Like, it was just maybe because I didn't let myself play long enough because it wasn't my game. I was checking out somebody else's, and it was just like a quick time event and then another quick time event, and I was like, nah. So, all right. All right, John. So what do you got going on this week?
Well, thankfully, for the remainder of the day, I last weekend, of course, right after this, like an hour after the show ends, do a live stream with Heavenly Jester over on his channels on Rumble and YouTube called The Jester's Act, but that is every other week. So I actually have the remainder of today off to work on production stuff and just have a little bit of actual downtime, maybe play some games. But tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern, of course, I'll be over doing a review of Season 7, Episodes 1 and 2 of Red Dwarf over on WTF Live, which I do at that time throughout the week on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. And then, the random game stream, whenever those get unlocked, we also do those over there on his channel. And then later in the day on Sunday, I'll be on Toasty's channel again. We do panel shows on Fridays and Sundays now, and then it's just her and I on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But that will start at 8 p.m. Eastern. And as I just said, you can always find me co-hosting with her throughout the week here on Rumble, at least until January, because we're in the initiative of getting her remonetized and also avoiding being on YouTube so that she doesn't get deplatformed while she's waiting for these strikes to fall off. But we've been building a new studio for that, and that's going to be really cool when we get the opportunity to debut all the stuff we've been working on in January. But yeah, Sundays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern, and then of course here with you on the weekends, bright and early at 11 a.m. And other than that, I'm just busy actually putting in production work for my own Rumble channels and I guess the YouTube one as well, although that's kind of secondary at this point. And just trying to figure out, now that I've got my setup fixed, at least well enough that I can actually start being productive, to try to actually do a little bit more. So I'm staying busy, so busy. This past week has actually been kind of nice, change of pace. But I do want to thank everybody who took time out of their day to hang out with us. Looks like we had 20 people here on Rumble today, which, you know, that's always a great thing. Yeah, I'd love to see, you know, get that high here in the chat, and hopefully even higher as time goes by. So thank you, everybody who hung out with us for the last 2-ish hours of your time. You know, always enjoy talking to you about all these various gaming pop culture things on the weekends, Brian, because I do think that we tend to get a little bit deeper into it, and since we don't necessarily agree on things, you know, 100%, it makes for, I think, far better conversations, because we get, you know, we actually legitimately respect each other, if nothing else, and you know, we're all allowed to have our own kind of takes on things, but of course, with that said, though, you all have a wonderful weekend going forward. Of course, safe travels ahead, and be awesome as always.
All right. Well, if you guys like this video, please hit like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, to the bell for notifications. Leave us a comment and let us know what you guys think about what we discussed on the show today. And please, please, please share this video, because sharing is caring. Thank you guys so much for coming on today's episode of The Week in Culture. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Long live Vivian.
With the glass ceiling broken, all the oppressed groups shall prosper, especially the most oppressed group of all, gamers.
I want people in the industry to be a little bit louder about people being mean to other people, and maybe say it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Maybe say we don't want you around if you're going to be a cunt.
Yeah.
And hateful. And that the games industry is diverse naturally. Not because anyone's making them be diverse, because the world is diverse, you stupid motherfucker. And if you have a problem with that, come fight me. Physically. Bitch.
Has anyone taken you up on that yet?
No, because they're all pussies.
Yep.
Down here, salt is a way of life.
Obviously, the environment down here is all salt. The ceiling's salt, the floor is salt, the walls are salt, and to an extent, the air is salt. And you breathe that in, and you can constantly taste the salt.